Hello and welcome back to my tutorial session, and this one is going to take you through the process that I use to make an audio slideshow. And the audio slideshow puts together the photographs that you've edited for your photo slideshow and audio like you've edited for your audio podcast, and puts these things together in a slideshow. I'm going to use iMovie, which is built into the Mac computer that I'm using. It's also on all of the Macs in our GIST 215 computer lab, and you can get that app also for your telephone. If you use a PC, you probably have Movie Maker Pro or something similar to that, which is very close to this interface. And you can find tutorials on how to use it, but I'm going to give you basically the process that I use to make a movie in iMovie, which I'm going to open now. Before I got started opening iMovie, I did some other things that you didn't see me do. And one was I put together both some photographs in a folder that I picked and edited and renamed. And these are the photos. I have going to make a photo slideshow based on a bit of travel that I did, a hike that I did with my husband. I believe I used this as my editing photo tutorial, so these are some photos that I edited during that session, and it's our hike on the Lost Coast Trail. I also wrote, after looking at the photos and picking some, I wrote a little narrative that I recorded. I stuck to, I could have tried to make it shorter. It was about 500 words, and I edited it down to 300 words so that I would have about a minute. And then I recorded it, and it's about a minute and a half of audio. I recorded it in Audacity and edited it there, saved it as a WAV file, so I have these things all on my desktop here. Now I have iMovie open, and I'm going to start a new project in iMovie. So I have iMovie clicked on. I'm going to go to File, New Movie. When I choose New Movie for this class, please don't pick a theme. That they give you all these pre-fabricated themes that you can use. For this project, I want you just to use a very straightforward format that you create yourself. I'm going to call this Lost Coast Hiking. Always give your things names that relate to the subject matter. Please don't name your projects Project for Deidre or Project for a Tools class or Audio Slideshow Project. Those are not indicative of what the subject matter of your content is, and since that title often sticks to your movie when you upload it to YouTube or when you post it on your website, please give it a name that makes some sense with regards to the content. I've made a Lost Coast Hiking. It says import media, so that's what I'm going to do first. And I'm going to grab basically this entire folder that I created on my desktop right here. I could drag it in if I wanted to, or I could just go here, and I'm going to take all of these. I could click on them and drag them all, but I'm going to highlight them all here. And I'm going to import these in as these. Basically, I have 15 pictures or so here. Okay, these are all still photos. So though I'm using iMovie, I'm making a movie using single still photos. And when I import them into here, they automatically become 4 seconds of slide. So I'm going to just show you, here's my content, and this down here, I don't know if you can see, actually I know you can't see my cursor. The bottom of the gray bit here is my timeline for my beautiful slideshow that I'm going to make. So I'm going to bring in one of my first pictures. I put them in order, so these are pretty much in the order I wanted them. This is the trailhead at the Mattole River. And it's a 4-second slide, so let's watch it from the beginning to the end. And we'll see what happens with this. This is a still photograph, but you can see in the upper right corner how it shrinks away as we look at it. Let's put another photo in and see if it does the same thing. Put this photo in down here next to it. It's the next photo on the list. It's a photo of my husband and myself getting ready to hike the Lost Coast Trail. So now here we'll watch the whole, this is our whole slideshow to date. Whoops, I'm pulling back my timeline. I hit the space bar to make it play. And then I watch it change over to this slide, and it looks like a moving picture. I'm going to show you how to change that movement, but first I want to get all of my slides in my slideshow. It's going to not be a whole lot of effort because basically I'm just going to put them all in, and they should come in the right order because I spent a couple minutes naming them correctly so that they would name in the right order. I'll put all my photos in here. They're all 4 seconds long, so I can watch my whole slideshow like this. There's slide 2, slide 3, 4. It's moving in and out. It's making me a little dizzy. Oh, it's going up and down. And, ooh, I noted that picture feels a little crooked. This is a picture of the Punta Gorda Lighthouse. All right, I have pictures. They're on a slideshow. If I wanted to just have this cute little slideshow just look exactly like this, complete with dirty feet, I could do it. I could just hit save and I would have a fun little slideshow to upload to YouTube and import. But there are all kinds of things that I want to finagle about this slideshow, which has, I guess, 14 pictures. For starters, I don't really like the movie any outy thing, especially on some. For example, this last slide of my husband by the campfire, when I look at that picture, I see that I never get to see his head. This is how the picture looks. And I double clicked on this particular slide down on the movie timeline, and up came this bit, this interface in the upper right hand window where we can look at our movie. Now, what's happening with it is it's defaulted to do the Ken Burns effect. Up here you can see the word Ken Burns, and that is a documentary filmmaker who used still photos and did that zoomy inny outy thing so that it looked like moving pictures. It was a particular effect to him. So what I want to do, however, is I want to change my Ken Burns effect for this photo. And you can do that by changing this, my shoes down on the bottom and my husband up at the top. So it's going to start with just him, and it's going to zoom out to our wine and my shoes and the whole campfire scene. So now when I play this slide, it's going to look like this. It zooms out like that. And that's how the frame will look when it plays in my thing. Maybe some I don't want to move at all. Perhaps some bits, like this lighthouse, I want it just to stay the lighthouse. So when I double click on this, I'm going to just hit fit. Now it's fitting in the screen just right. And so when we see it, we're going to see it just like that. I'm going to do that to a couple of them because I don't like it moving around all the time. And this picture of both of us here, just going to fit. And this one moves a little bit. This one, the Wretched of the Earth, I can't decide whether I like it going up or down or not. Let's look at it again. Yeah, it goes up. A message from the Wretched of the Earth. I kind of like it. I'm going to leave it just like that. All right. One thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop the timeline. I'm going to put my audio on it. It's super fast and easy to do this. You see that this hasn't taken that long so far. I'm going to put my audio on it, and then we'll give the whole thing a listen. As you can see, my audio slideshow is just a little bit too long. But here's what I just dragged my audio over, by the way, from my desktop. I picked it up and I put it on here, and it shows up as greenness down here. And you can see that there's the audio might be even a little soft. I might have to tweak it and make it a little louder. There we go. I'm going to play it now, and we'll see what this looks like. My husband Dave and I hiked the Lost Coast Trail from the Mattole River Trailhead to Cooksey Creek Canyon in 2016. That's not the entire trail, but it is 16 miles of California's most desolate, pristine coast. We started our hike at the Mattole River Trailhead for the Lost Coast Trail. It's easier to hike from the north to the south on the trail as you're walking with the wind instead of against it. We camped at the Mattole Trailhead and hit the trail mid-morning. It's about 4 miles to the Punta Gorda Lighthouse where we stopped for lunch. The lighthouse is no longer in use, and recently the stairs to the top were blocked off. The walls are covered with interesting graffiti. Down on the beach we saw a colony of elephant seals. I could see about 80 seals, but I don't get too close to them. We hiked in May, spring, so that sources of drinking water were plentiful. Dave had a water filter, so we stopped along the trail at Sea Lion Gulch to refresh our supply. It's about 8 miles from the trailhead to Cooksey Creek. We arrived there early and set up camp. We could have hiked a few more miles, but Cooksey Creek is one of the most beautiful places on the Lost Coast Trail, and I love camping there. All right, what you can see from this is that my audio is too long and the photos stop, and the photos don't seem very synced up with my audio. So now's the point where I start finagling with things. I can make some slides longer. I can take some out. For example, when I look at that in big, I hate those feet, so those feet are not going in. I'm going to grab a couple more pictures out of my photo set here, and without even editing them, like let's put this one in there. That's a better picture of me and the elephant seals colony. Here it is. We want to look at the elephant seals down below on the beach with maybe with a pretty flower in the foreground. When I talk about the elephant seals, and I can add a couple pictures of graffiti from the walls in the Punta Gorda Lighthouse and some seashells along the way. There we go. That's going to be a little better. These are some of my pictures here. Now, when I add these in, and I can just drop and drag them. Let me show you how to add these in. I didn't give them numbers now. This is me being totally lazy. You guys are never lazy like this, I know. But I'm going to be just a little lazy here. And I'm going to put these about where I think they go.